I am teaching, sir. Why do I not have? Ah. Alright. Today we are going to go over Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. Next week we will be going over Chapter 11 and Chapter 12. And then we'll prepare for and take the final. Alright, let's get into it. Chapter 9 is about databases. There are 4 types of database keys. There's a primary key, which is a field or combination of fields that uniquely identifies an entity. There is a candidate key, which is alternative keys that could function as a primary key. There is a foreign key, which is the primary key of another table, and secondary key, which is repeated data, so non-unique data inside of an entity. We want to normalize our tables in these 3 forms of normalization. There is first normal form, wherein tables must not have repeated entities, so we make sure that every entity is unique. There is second normal form, wherein we make sure that it is in first normal form, that is, all entities are unique, and they must be functionally dependent on the entire primary key. so that all of the data that is added in a table is dependent. So that's a good word. That is that all the data relies on the data from the primary key. And there is third normal form, wherein the table must be in second normal form, which means that it must be both unique entities, and that the entities are reliant on the primary key, and must consist only of primary keys and secondary keys, which I guess is a typo, because you can also have foreign keys. I think it's supposed to say primary keys and foreign keys. And that's everything that I'm going to quiz off of based on Chapter 9. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I'm going to continue on to the few slides I have for Chapter 10. Let's see. Chapter 10, we have client-server, different architecture types. We have client-server architecture, internet-based architecture, and cloud computing. So client-server architecture is where a client connects to and talks to a server. There's also internet-based architecture, in which they also talk to and connect to a server. The difference being internet-based architecture relies mostly on internet forms such as HTML. You think of this as HTML, PHP, JavaScript, and CSS mostly. Whereas client-server architecture can be anything. If you want to think about the difference, you think of client-server could be serving other things such as data from an MMO, whereas internet-based architecture is specifically more focused on internet sites. And then there is cloud computing, in which our servers are not physical, they are virtual servers on another server. And then we have network topologies, in which we have 5 different major topologies for networking. There's hierarchical network, in which we build a hierarchy of connections. So a main network piece might connect to 2 lower network pieces, which connect themselves to multiple other network pieces, such as computers, routers, etc. There is a bus network, in which we have a central line of communication that has lines of communication off of it. So we could have our switches, our routers, etc. in the center, with our computers connected off of the central line of connections. We have a ring network, in which each of the computers or routers or whatever are connected back and forth in a ring, so each one's connected to 2 others that eventually loop back around and connect to itself. We have a star network, in which we have a central networking piece that connects to all of the other pieces in the network. And we have a mesh network, in which every piece of the network connects to every other piece of the network. And I think that is my last slide for today, so if anybody has any questions, I will wait around for a few minutes. The quiz will be entirely based on this information, though I would recommend that you read Chapter 10, and if you hadn't read Chapter 9 last week, I would suggest that you read Chapter 9. If I don't get any questions in the next couple minutes, then I will go ahead and close down the video. Okay. I'm getting an all good from Discord, so I will leave you guys to read the chapter.